Thanks for listening. I'm Jenny. I'm a life coach, and today I'm talking about neurodivergence and executive functioning problems for INFJs and empaths. So many INFJs and other empaths experience neurodiversity. This can include autism, Asperger's, ADHD, CPTSD, among other things. There's a wide spectrum of neurodivergence. And some of the traits of different styles of neurodivergence are we can be perfectionistic overthinkers with limited energy, which makes achieving goals challenging. Um, we um, we can have really high and unrealistic expectations of ourselves and what we can get done, because if you're neurodivergent, you're playing the game on hard mode and you're treating yourself like it's not on hard mode. Okay. So we can have high and unrealistic expectations of ourselves. Trauma can cause neurodivergence, but being neurodivergent is also traumatic. It's a chicken or the egg scenario. It's kind of hard to say what came first. Um, but the best thing you can do for productivity is really to just recognize that you're neurodivergent, recognize that you're playing the game on hard mode, and then start to cut yourself some slack. A lot of the times, just taking the pressure off will actually make you more productive. Okay. So, this I think the reason that we expect ourselves to be able to play the video game like everyone else is because we usually are very intelligent, very gifted, very high functioning. There's a concept called twice gifted, which is where you're so gifted that you can mask your challenges very well and very effectively to the point that other people don't really know how much you're struggling. But it makes achieving goals feel way more exhausting than it looks. We make things look really easy, but inside we're exhausted a lot of the time. We're also divergent thinkers with a convergent lens. So we're very highly focused on specific goals, but we often miss things in our peripheral vision. We have to be interested in what we're learning and we have to be intentionally learning it. Whereas um, a lot of other people just kind of pick things up organically without even trying. But for us, we have to be interested, we have to be focused, we have to be intent on learning something. And this leads to an imbalance where we can feel very old and very young at the same time, very wise in some ways and very inexperienced in other ways, compared to the rest of the population. Um, we're very good at predicting the future and elaborating complex plans, but we struggle with putting those plans into action. And this is basically what executive functioning means: is the ability to act, the ability to act things out and complete things and to be organized and productive. So we're only good at things we're interested in, and we really struggle with boring adulting things. We really struggle with like scheduling a doctor's appointment or balancing a checkbook. But we're really interested in like learning about psychopaths. Okay, so there's an imbalance there of skills. We are usually more interested in complex tasks over simple tasks. We struggle with simple, routine, boring tasks for this reason. Our executive functioning ability fluctuates based on our emotions. Um, and that's why, some tasks can also feel easy one day and overwhelming the next day, because our emotional state also affects our executive functioning abilities. It's like having a laser beam of focus when other people have a flashlight. We have a very narrow, a very intense focus, which drains our energy more quickly, right? Lasers need more batteries to operate. Unlike others who learn more passively. It's a wider, more diffuse light. It's less intense. It's less bright. It's less focused. It's less effective as far as intensity, but it's more broad and more general, and more encompassing. Okay, so a lot of the times, people with neurodivergent, the thing that gets us to finally act on things and to be more productive, the things that motivate us are anger, fear, deep interest in a topic, challenge, novelty, urgency, and passion. So your secret weapons then for getting things done are basically, procrastination triggered adrenaline stoked fear or anger, along with interest, challenge, novelty, play, urgency, passion, being contrarian, or accomplishing things out of spite. Your environment also matters. We're very hypersensitive to lights, to noise, to sounds, to smells, to the weather. And so the more we can control our environment, the more we can reduce that hypersensitivity and those distractions. We also thrive on meaning and not rewards. So it helps our executive functioning if we're working on something that has a lot of meaning for us. It helps to tie our goals to a deeper purpose in order to trigger this. Especially helping others is a really helpful thing, is when we want to accomplish a goal, instead of thinking about how it's going to help us, to think about how it's going to help others. A lot of the time, if we can put our focus on how it's going to help others, that helps motivate us out of an executive functioning trap. We're also future focused, um, and then we can get overwhelmed with, how long is this project going to take? What are all the steps that I need to do? Instead of focusing on the present and just what we need to do right now, just focusing on what we need to do today, we project too far into the future, and then we get overwhelmed. Many creatives have a habit of focusing on our completed vision instead of just the next step. And this can also kind of create boredom and burnout with our projects, because we've already completed the project in our heads and now we're bored with it. We get bored easily. We have given that project a token reality, um, a false reality, and that takes the life force away from it. We also have anticipatory anxiety. This is an example of this is if you have an appointment later in the day and you can't focus on anything else until that appointment is over. Another word for this is being stuck in waiting mode. Um, we have performance anxiety. We can be just as scared of failure as we are of success, because success means attention. Success means we now have a business or an audience that we now have to care for and manage. So sometimes we sabotage ourselves because we're actually scared of success even more than failure sometimes. Um, our anxiety can get triggered if it feels like a project is taking too long, or we're afraid of putting it out into the world, or we're anxious about how much money we will or will not make from it. Um, and so it's really important to scale down your focus to just the next step, the next logical step. Um, Focus on what can I do just this week or just this day or just this hour, and then try to cut out your distractions as much as you can. Focus on one step at a time, and try to not worry about the end goal and focus on just living the creative journey itself. Um, Try to focus on making it feel enjoyable and less like a struggle. Because when you're neurodivergent, hard work does not look like consistency. It looks like resilience. It looks like taking a break and then trying again, experimenting, finding what works. Um, if you break your goals down into little tiny baby steps, you're going to get a dopamine hit every time you complete one of those baby steps. And that will propel you forward. It will add to your motivation. If you make your goals really high and really big, you're projecting those dopamine hits too far into the future, and then you don't have anything to fuel you now. Making a big change requires big energy, and we don't have big energy. Our batteries are drained all the time. So you have to think smaller. The best thing you can do is to break things down so you can give yourself those little dopamine hits as often as possible. Um, and by the way, if you have tried stimulant drugs and they actually calm you down or they help you focus, that probably means that you have untreated ADHD. And so treating your ADHD can be a really helpful way to stop using those stimulants. Um, some other little quirks of neurodivergence is you might dissociate when people try to teach you how to play a board game, or when they try to tell you their name. When I try to learn, I don't even bother trying to play board games anymore, because it's just like I completely leave my body. I zone out, and when I'm learning things on my own, I actually have to turn the speed up. If it's a video or if it's an audiobook, I listen to those on double speed, because that's the only thing that keeps me from zoning out. So instead of overestimating what you can do in a day, try underestimating what you can do in a day. And underestimating what you can do in a day actually makes you feel more productive. And feeling more productive actually makes you more productive. Okay, so underestimate what you can do in a day. Your homework is to use the WOOP method of setting a goal. This is WOOP, and it stands for Wish Outcome Obstacle Plan. So it involves defining a goal, that is your wish, defining the positive outcome, that's the O, defining the potential obstacles, that's the second O, and then a concrete plan to overcome the obstacles, that is the plan. So write down your goal, the wish, the outcome, the obstacle, the plan. And then I want you to throw it away and ignore it. And just focus on what does work and not what should work. That's everything I have for today, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you want coaching or more content, check out my website. The links are in the description. Bye, everybody.